This is from Pumpkin Soup by Helen Cooper. Deep in the woods, there's an old white cabin with pumpkins in the garden. There's a good smell of soup, and at night, with luck, you might see a bagpiping cat through the window, and a squirrel with a banjo, and a small singing duck. Pumpkin soup, the best you ever tasted, made by the cat who slices up the pumpkin, made by the squirrel who stirs in the water, made by the duck who scoops up a pipkin of salt and tips in just enough. They slurp their soup and play their song, then pop off to bed in a quilt stitched together by the cat, embroidered by the squirrel, and filled with fine feathers from the duck. And it's peaceful in the old white cabin. Everyone has his own job to do. Everyone is happy, or so it seems. But one morning, the duck woke up early. He tiptoed into the kitchen and smiled at the squirrel's special spoon.
"Wouldn't it be fine," he murmured, "if I could be the head cook?"
He drew up a stool, hopped on top, and reached until his beak just touched the tip of the spoon. Kerplunk! Down it clattered. Then the duck trotted back to the bedroom, held up the spoon, and said, "Today it's my turn to stir the soup."
"That's mine," squeaked the squirrel. "Stirring is my job. Give that back."
"You're much too small," snapped the cat. "We'll cook the way we always have." But the duck held on tight until the squirrel tugged with all his might, and whoops! The spoon spun through the air and bopped the cat on the head. Then there was trouble, a horrible squabble, a row, a racket, a rumpus in the old white cabin. This is from Niccolini's Song by Chuck Wilcoxen. The night was once again quiet. Niccolini closed his eyes. A deep voice nearby whispered, "Are they gone?" Niccolini kept his eyes closed and slowly reached for his whistle. "No, please, no more whistling." The voice was very polite. Niccolini opened one eye and peered to his left. He opened his other eye and peered to his right. He was certain that he was alone. "I've got a big day tomorrow, and I'm afraid I might never get back to sleep," the voice said. Niccolini turned to the steam engine and tilted his head. Now, just about anybody can hear a steam engine as it thunders down the track, but it takes a very good listener to hear a steam engine worry. 77 boxcars from here to Waxahachie, and only 3 hours sleep," it said. Oh, that can't be good." Niccolini blinked. "Would you sing to me?" the locomotive asked. "Something low and sweet." Niccolini slowly turned all the way around to be absolutely sure no one was playing a trick on him. He took a step closer to the engine. He placed his hand on the cool steel and began to hum a tune his mother used to sing to him when he was a little boy. He could only remember some of the words, so as he began to sing, he made up a new song for the locomotive. It was a song about gentle hills, steady tailwinds, and feathers for freight. Soon, Niccolini knew the anxious engine was asleep. This is from Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. Then the two animals stood and regarded each other cautiously. "Hello, Mole," said the water rat. "Hello, Rat," said the mole. "Would you like to come over?" inquired the rat presently. "Oh, it's all very well to talk," said the mole rather pettishly, he being new to a river and riverside life and its ways. The rat said nothing, but stooped and unfastened a rope and hauled on it, then lightly stepped into a little boat which the mole had not observed. It was painted blue outside and white within, and was just the size for 2 animals. And the mole's whole heart went out to it at once, even though he did not yet fully understand its uses. The rat sculled smartly across and made fast. Then he held up his forepaw as the mole stepped gingerly down. "Lean on that," he said. "Now then, step lively." And the mole, to his surprise and rapture, found himself actually seated in the stern of a real boat. "This has been a wonderful day," said he, as the rat shoved off and took to the sculls again. "Do you know, I've never been in a boat before in all my life." "What?" cried the rat, open-mouthed. "Never been in a... You never... Well, What have you been doing, then?" "Is it so nice as all that?" asked the mole shyly, though he was quite prepared to believe it as he leant back in his seat and surveyed the cushions, the oars, the rowlocks, and all the fascinating fittings, and felt the boat sway lightly under him. "Nice? It's the only thing," said the water rat solemnly as he leant forward for his stroke. "Believe me, my young friend, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, half so much worth doing as simply messing about in boats. Simply messing," he went on dreamily. "Messing about in boats. Messing! Look out, rat!" cried the mole suddenly. This is from Smith of Wootton Major by J.R.R. Tolkien. There was a village once, not very long ago for those with long memories, nor very far away for those with long legs. Wootton Major it was called because it was larger than Wootton Minor, a few miles away deep in the trees. But it was not very large, though it was at that time prosperous, and a fair number of folk lived in it, good, bad, and mixed, as is usual. It was a remarkable village in its way, being well known in the country round about for the skill of its workers in various crafts, but most of all for its cooking. It had a large kitchen, which belonged to the village council, and the master cook was an important person. The cook's house and the kitchen adjoined the great hall, the largest and oldest building in the place, and the most beautiful. It was built of good stone and good oak, and was well tended, though it was no longer painted or gilded, as it had been once upon a time. In the hall the villagers held their meetings and debates, and their public feasts, and their family gatherings. So the cook was kept busy, since for all these occasions he had to provide suitable fare. For the festivals, of which there were many in the course of a year, the fare that was thought suitable was plentiful and rich. There was one festival to which all looked forward, for it was the only one held in winter. It went on for a week, and on its last day at sundown there was a merrymaking called the Feast of Good Children, to which not many were invited. No doubt some who deserved to be asked were overlooked, and some who did not were invited by mistake, for that is the way of things, however careful those who arrange such matters may try to be. In any case, it was largely by chance of birthday that any child came in for the 24 feast, since it was only held once in 24 years, and only 24 children were invited. For that occasion, the master cook was expected to do his best, and in addition to many other good things, it was the custom for him to make the great cake. By the excellence, or otherwise, of this his name was chiefly remembered, for a master cook seldom, if ever, lasted long enough in office to make a second great cake.